Hello. In this tutorial, we will learn how to make a simple Codesys project for the TX700 series. Okay. So before you start, uh, you need to go to download the Turk Software Manager and then install Codesys system SG16. Okay, as well as the Codesys package for the TX HMI series. Okay, if you're using something else, you can also download the appropriate package, preferably the ST16. Okay, so this is the version of the Codesys that you'll be using. Okay, and to make your project. Okay, so that you will also add the device that you want to use into it. Okay, or this one, it's up to you. Okay, so once you're in download and installed, okay, you can actually run this program. Okay, yeah, quality system will be there for you. Okay, uh, okay, okay. As we start this project, just want to tell you that I'm making this video with a sore throat. Yeah, at 7 a.m. in the morning in Germany. So please excuse me if some things are uh a bit hazy. Okay, so now in your Codesys project, right? To start a new project, you can just click here. Okay, or you can also, if this is not available, it's also on the top. Okay, so if you actually install your package properly, you will have this extra template for the TX HMI device. Okay, so select this and then you can just uh name your project my second uh, project. Okay, sorry, my first time. Okay, so over here you ask you, yeah, what's the device that you are using, and then you can click as appropriate. Okay, don't worry if you're using the T-band or the BL20 Codesys project, you can still start from here. Then after that, okay, and then I'll show you how to change it. So and then after that you can choose the display mode. Okay, so as some of you may know, the TX series is a HMI. So the display mode actually lets you select how you want to display everything, and in landscape or portrait. But don't worry, you can change this afterwards also. Yeah. So as also for the T-band series, you're able to use the Codesys. The Codesys visualization program. Okay. So this is for the visualization program, whether you want it to be landscape or portrait. Okay. Thirdly, choose your preferred PLC programming language. Okay, so different programming language uh have their advantages and disadvantages. So it's up to you to use them, but most of the time use the one you're comfortable with. For example, for me, uh I'm comfortable with structured text. I use this. In fact, structured text is one of the more flexible programming styles available in Codesys. Yeah, which is very good for computation as well as copying and pasting like thousands of device in one line. You might not understand why I say that, but as you use more of it, okay, you will understand. Okay, so for the whole project, I'll be doing it in uh structured text, but of course you can make your own uh you can make your own program in ladder diagram or flowchart function block as long as you're happy. So do you want to upgrade? Yes. Okay. You want to upgrade because by default you save it in a older version format compatible with old version of Codesys. But for now we are just want to do it in SP13. Okay. So if you actually use a wrong device, right? You can also update your device, change the device by right clicking and update the device. Okay. For example, you're using it in the T-band series. You're using the T-band series. You can click this. Okay. So actually, very interesting function is actually you can actually run the Codesys program as part of your computer. So make your computer into a PLC, and then you can run it on your computer, and then you can run your program like kind of as a simulation for you to test out your program. Okay, and then depending, sometimes if you install many package, if you click display all version, you will have many versions. Okay, so look for the one for 3.5.16.30. Okay, uh, or the 3.5.16. Okay, depends on what you installed. Okay, so for example, I'm going to make my computer into a PC because I don't have any other device. Okay, so once you are created your first project, okay, if you are connected to your device itself, okay, you should be able to scan it. Okay, you need to make a connection between the program and the actual hardware device. So in this case, I'm going to double click, and over here you need to scan for the device. Okay, so I'm going to run my, so for those who are using gonna the actual hardware, just connect it up using the Ethernet cable to your to your computer, and you should get something like that. Okay, you should be able to scan for it. For me, because I'm using the onboard the PC PLC, okay, I need to run my PLC. So if I scan, so if you click scan, you should be able to find the device that you are connected to. Okay, so in some cases you're connected to a network with many PLC, that's you'll see many lines over here, but that's why it's up to you to find out which device that you want to use. Okay, so so just a check when you connect, you can just check what's the version that's being loaded onto the PLC itself over here. Okay, so if the version match, you'll be able to select the device. Okay, da. Okay, so if you see a green light over here, yeah, you see two green light means you're ready to go. Okay, so now we'll just to go into how to do the PLC logic. Okay, in Codesys, the programs are actually separated into uh, a few layers of structure. Okay, and the most basic structure, it begins with a POU. Okay, POU is where you write down all your programs. Okay, and then the next level is your task. So you're telling it how often you need to in a simple manner, you're telling it how often you want to run. Yeah, this controls the frequency, like maybe 20 millisecond, run the program once. Or you want it to be an event program, run it when certain signal turns on. Okay, application is where you put down all the other things. Okay, and then you also have a device level, or which device you're using, and then the whole project. Okay, so this is actually to just to tell you can add even more devices, yeah, like more PLCs into the same Codesys project. Okay, so now okay, we shall not go into too much of this. I think as you see the project, you should understand better with some practical. Okay, so as I mentioned, you need to write your code in a POU. Okay, so for some of you, okay, usually when you create a project, you'll come with a main program. Okay, over here it's called my PLC program. Okay, and if this is not enough, you can also add more POU. Okay, more programs or POU over here. For example, this is I don't know, let's call it blink. Okay, we are going to make a small block that blinks. Okay, and then I want it to be a function block, and add. Okay, tada, and then you see in such a way I already created a function block called blink. Okay, yeah, for some. And actually a good flexible thing for you to do is also you can create for each of the function block, you can also create them in the different implementation language. You want to create them in ladder, the sequential flow chart, it's up to you. Okay. Okay, so now uh so we're gonna write a simple program in Blink. Okay, so for your function block, I can have an input of a x enable. Okay, to tell the program I want to start doing my blinking. Okay, so okay, so as you can see, right, what I just did is actually I added a variable, or if for some of you who are familiar with HMI, I added a tag. Okay, uh, just by typing it over here. Okay, so in Codesys, it's separated into a few areas in the interface. Okay, so you have already seen this interface is your general project structure. Okay, what you have in all the projects, the devices, your PLC logic application is all here. Okay, how you structure the project. Okay, so over here the top area is where you write down all your variables. Okay, so all of them in a very nice neat area for you to refer to if there is any problem. Okay, and then this is where you write your code. Okay, and in your code you can actually, for example, do if x enable then data. Okay, and then over here, okay, sometimes it'll actually help you out by filling in what you need, what's the extra text that you need. Okay, and if you see any red line means there is some issue. For example, I'm sorry, it just says that at least one statement is expected, so I can just write something in my if loop. Okay, with more variables. Okay, let me see. So I want to enable, and then I want a output that will turn on and off. Okay, so okay, so I just type in and I want one output. Okay, so and then what other things I need for my blinker? Okay, probably I need to know how fast I want to blink. Okay, so I can a time, so to put in a time variable. Okay, I can actually how to say okay, I can create a integer or word value. Okay, on the uh time that I want uh to blink. Also I can take in an input and I can convert it to time. Alternatively, I can also just take in time. So this by itself is also a variable. Okay, but we're not gonna do that because yeah. Okay, so can also add extra variables over here. For example, I'm going to take, like for some of you familiar PLC, I'm going to take a timer on. Okay, I'm going to make a timer on, and here you go. Okay, so you can probably see for I'm not going to explain too much what's the meaning between boolean or word, because I'm assuming you are more familiar with the variable types in PLCs. Okay, but for those of you, okay, boolean is 1 to 0, and then for word it's a number between 0 to 65535. Okay, if you ever forget, the very true function in Codesys is to highlight what you don't know and you click F1. Okay, and you go online and then you can see different explanation for different parts of the program. So for example, over here it actually already defined for you using word is actually a number between 0 to 65535. Okay, if you want bigger numbers or small numbers, up to you, you just look back at this chart. Okay, yeah, I'll recommend you remember so you don't need to keep opening this chart. Okay, Okay, so there are actually a lot of variable types as I just mentioned, as I just showed you. There's also a time variable type but that's not very depending on your preference. You might not like to use that. You might or might not like to use that. Okay, so I'm going to create as oh wait oh yeah so I'm going to create a timer variable. Okay, sometimes for functions that you created, you can also use F1 to check. Okay, especially for some of the Codesys pre-installed program. So if you don't know what is timer on, can F1 and check out and read through what you're supposed to do. So what we have over here is actually, for those who don't know, timer on is something where you can, which also will start counting when you turn the signal, the enable signal to 1. Okay, and then you count. Once it reach the timing that you have the preset timing, it will generate a second output. Okay, to tell you that this is the time has been reached. Okay, and it is still on. And once you turn it off, it will turn off. Okay, yeah, the output will also go to 0. Okay, yeah, so always come back to this help page for very helpful advice. Okay, so you see I'm gonna copy very simply. If you forget what you're supposed to do, you can always copy what you're supposed to put it over here. Okay, so I am going to, so I triggered a timer object which will be activated by with an input signal of X enable, and then I can put a PT signal of 5 seconds. Okay, but if you want a variable that you can change along the way, especially in the I will recommend you do it in Word, and then you can convert that word into a time variable. Okay. Oh, and what you're seeing over here right now is sometimes for properly coded function, it will also give you more description of how you're supposed to use it. So as you can see, output over here is defined as Q. Okay. So for word, we are going to do this. Okay. Changing the word into an actual time variable. So if I put in like 5,000, so this will convert the number from into a milliseconds. Okay, so if I put in 5,000, it will mean I want the clock to run at 5,000. Okay, so another useful thing you want to take note is that you can actually give it a initial value. Okay, so if you create this function block and you know most of the time you using it at 5 seconds, then you can just define it if as 5 seconds. Okay, so if nobody give you extra information, it will run it it will run at 1 second or 5 seconds, whatever you want it to run it at. Okay, and it will only change if you give it a different number. Yeah, maybe I'll do this more later. Okay, and then so if I run the timer, okay, so if timer.q, okay, so if the time is reached, I want my output to change to something else. Okay, okay, so if my timer is reached, I want my output to invert. Okay, so the not so for some of you who are familiar, the logical operations, yeah, there's the not, there's the and, there's the or. Yeah, so what I'm doing over here is I'm actually changing my output. Okay, my output 1 and 0 to if it's 1, then I change it to 0. If it's 0, I change it to 1. Okay, yeah, another way to write this, okay, but in a longer fashion, is for you to write and output equals true equal true. Okay, then I will turn it to false. Else output equals to, oh no, this is bad. Else if equals to false, then I will turn it to true. Okay. Why I do not want to do else? Because it will keep turning it off if the timer is true. Okay. So okay. So that so if you want the blinker to keep on blinking, okay, you want it to keep. If you always enable, then the timer will also always be running. But okay, so if I want to for it to invert every time it hits the timing, good way is to put a condition where it is also not true. So the timer is not. So if I have enabled it and the timer has not hit the desired time, okay, I will count the timer. So if it hit the desired time, okay, it will stop counting and then it will reset. Okay. So this is how you create a simple logic with input and output. Okay. So now how do you add that block into my function program? Okay. I can just simply, okay, uh, I can also add other uh, so I'm going to add other like function that I created within this project. Okay. So for over here, what I wrote is actually I made a function. Okay, I made a function block blink with the name blinker. Okay, so the name is on the left, the function is on the right. Okay, the name of the blinker. Okay, uh, okay, now that doesn't really matter, but I give the okay. Okay, so if I start to type it in, okay, you'll tell me what I need to input. X enable blah blah blah. Oh, this is so much things to type. I don't like it. Okay, so if I don't like it, there's another function as a shortcut in Codesys plus F2. Okay, and then you can actually click on the function block you created. Oh, sorry, not like this. Okay, F2. Can actually instance call. Okay. So over here, you'll create the line that you need to run the blinker. Okay, with all the inputs that you need to put it in. So over here, okay, I'm gonna enable. Can put if I put the enable to true, then my blinker will start to blink. Okay, as mentioned, if I don't want 1 second, I want it to blink at 2 seconds, I can give it a different number. Okay, and where should I put the output? I can put an output as a X blink out. Okay, I can save the output to this variable I just created called blink out. Okay, so I'm gonna run. So now that I have my code, I'm gonna run by clicking the login. Okay, and just wait. So by clicking login, it will save and compile the whole program and put it into your controller. So if I click run, okay, you'll see that every 2 seconds my blink will blink out. Oh, it's so if you can go in Okay. Over here you don't see too much. You can also, if you double click the function, you can go in and it will show you what is happening inside. Okay, and it seems like my output is not moving. Why is it not moving? You can see the different states of the function over here. Okay, and that is because my logic is wrong. Oh no, what should I do? So whenever your logic is wrong, easy. Okay, you can stop the program, you log out, and you just change whatever you want. Okay, you can always log out and you can re-download back in. Okay, and you actually would notice that because just now I showed you this other example of how I'm going to write it, I didn't remove this part. Okay, so if I remove this part, yeah, so it blink turn on and then it blink turn off. Oh no, why I so stupid? But never mind, no problem. You will just log in again. So now when on your second time you the on after the program if you have loaded the program already on the PLC, if there's a running program, yeah, it will ask you whether you want to log in online change or you log in with download. Okay, so I'm sure some of you, the PLC from near PLC, would be quite familiar with this, whether you want online change or download. Okay, so for prototyping phase, I would recommend always downloading because sometimes online not everything will work. Not all changes will go in and work properly if you're doing online change. Okay, so this is actually something you learn with more experience. But as of now, for prototyping, just go for downloading. Okay, okay, you see that I've okay, okay. So right now, you see it's blinking every 2 seconds. If I can also see look in and see the variables on the function block that I've actually made. So every 2 seconds, I'm actually changing my output. Okay, so this is an example of a simple blinker. So as you can already see, okay, so let me explain another thing that you see that my screen always turn white every time I run the program. That is because it's trying to run the visualization. Okay, so like as I mentioned in the Codesys, it allows you to use the project as like will give you a kind of a HMI interface. Okay, what we call the visualization. Okay, so over here, if you go more further into it, you can define what's the size of your visualization, how you want to input, whether you want it to, yeah, and like which like visualization program you're running as the first page. Okay, so okay, maybe this one, okay, so actually I'm gonna whenever I run my program, I will run with visualization first. Okay, so my visualization right now is blank. That's why every time I run and it starts the HMI, I have a blank page. Okay, so what should I do to decorate it? Okay, so there are actually many buttons on the visualization toolbox on the right side. Oh, and you can actually simply just click, pull what you want in, and then there is this over here is a property button where you can change the different properties. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to link this to my blinker. So you can click the three dots, go into your application, choose the correct thing that you want to change. X, this is my blink out. Okay, and then let's just say that I want a switch to only start blinking when I want it to. Okay, so this is a button, and then oh, I want a button. What should I do? Cause I'm going to create a new variable. I don't have variable. So I'm going to create a variable here. X start blinking. Okay. So if you actually noticed why I always put an X over here on the start of the name is because it's to make it for easier to read. Okay. It's kind of a common practice to put like the type of variable that belongs to the uh sorry to put the variable type at the start of the name. Okay, for example, for boolean you put X. Like if you're using word, you put a W at the start of the variable name. Okay, so now I have a variable to start blinking, and for the variable output I can add it in. Tata. Okay, sorry, start blinking. Okay. So if I click this, it will change the output, the value of start blinking to true, and then after that, then it will start blinking every 2 seconds. Okay, so as mentioned, if I don't put a value over here, what's the timing it will blink? So it will blink at 1 second because that is the initial, the default that I actually added in over here. Okay, so if you add a default input over here, then this thing would not be compulsory for you to define. Okay, so let's just see what happens. Okay, so once you run the program, remember to pick play. Ta-da! So if I click the button, it will blink at 1 second interval. 1 second, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Okay, so that concludes. So in this example, you learn how to use variables. Okay, create a function block. Okay, the rest is up to you to learn how to read everything else. Okay, so one last thing I have not really mentioned. Oh, sorry, there's still a few more things I haven't mentioned. So, as if you go up to see the tile, okay, my POU on top of my POU is my task. Okay, so the task is where you define. You can create a task over here. Okay, can create more tasks, and it's where you define how fast and what's the priority you want to run the program. You want to run it cyclic, or you want to run it as event, as status, and blah blah blah. Okay, and then you can add which application, which program you want to call over here. Okay, so I have one for my program, and I have one for my visualization. Okay, so if you remove this, the visualization will not work. So this is created automatically when you create a visualization. Okay, and next level up is actually application. Okay, so you can also check, you add a lot of different things. Okay, you can also add DUT, which is like a struct or enumeration. Yeah, okay, it's changing numbers into words like 1 2 3 4 into like maybe red, blue, green, yellow. Okay, I will not go into this in details. Yeah, it's up to you to create and press F1 to learn from there. Oh, another most useful thing is actually you can create your global variable here as well. Okay, global variable which and you want to create uh more HMI page, you can create over here. Okay, so for example, I create a visualization page 2. Maybe I put a random thing over here, and then you just need to add a button. Let's just say, where's my button? Toot. Okay, my button. Okay, over here, input configuration. Okay, you can on click change the visualization. Okay, change it to page 2. Okay, okay, and then I need a way to change it back to page 1. So I copy and paste the button over here, and then I change it to page 1. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. So I don't like the name, so I'm gonna change it to page 1. Ta ta ta. Oh, so whenever you change a name in the whole program, it will automatically ask you, because you use this name in like other parts of the program, it will ask you if you want to change for the whole project. Okay, very useful. So I just show you, for example, just now. Yeah, just now this was visualization. It automatically changed it to match the name to page 1. Okay, so another thing I have not told you is okay, now never mind. I will not go do that first. Okay, we will try out the changing of the page in the HMI. La 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 la. Yeah, run. So if I change, you can see that it switch in between the pages. Okay, so if you're using a HMI, you can just click alternate F4 and to get out of the visualization. Okay, so the lastly, I think also very important part, but this one will take a while, is you can actually, because add the other device that you're connected to on your HMI. Okay, so if you're trying to use your computer or PLC as a Modbus master, then you have to create Modbus TCP master. Then you need to define how you are going to reach your devices, in your slave devices, okay, using your hardware. So for example, my slave devices are connected through the Ethernet. Okay, then I'm gonna add, and then from the Ethernet, I'll be using Modbus TCP as a master. Okay, this is still me, and my as me as the master will have slaves. How many slaves? You can add as many slaves as you want. Okay, depending on your application. Okay, so over here, Ethernet, remember to set, yeah, choose the Ethernet hardware that you are connecting to. Okay, so right now I'm not connected to anything, so that's why it's 000. But if I want to connect to other Modbus devices across Wi-Fi, I can also do it. Okay, just define the interface, the hardware connection you will be connecting your device to. Okay, and on Modbus device, and actually for quite a lot of device, I would always check this auto reconnect. So by default, this is not enabled, which is which may be a problem, because anytime your slave disconnect, it will stay disconnected. So with auto reconnect, you will reconnect lor. Uh, so on the slave, yeah, this is where you define what's the address, the IP address of your slave. Okay, the slave, and then on the channel, you can actually add, I want to read my holding register, input register, blah 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 blah. Okay, so for example, I'm adding I want to read like 22 from 5200. Aha. So here I go. Okay. And then yeah. And then here will be my variables. My variables will be created on the mapping portion. Okay. So I can just, yeah, give the name to the different registers that I actually get from my slave. So register 1, register 2, yeah. So okay, so let's just say that you are actually adding a vibration sensor. Okay, so you can get the datasheet and you can go through what is the value of the different register, and you can copy it slowly and slowly and copy and paste everything inside. But this is annoying. This is annoying. Say with me. This is annoying. Why? Oh, that's because there are some rules, like for example, you cannot use Z, you cannot use dash or space in between. So you have the option of slowly typing everything in, or you can actually make another function block, okay, to save all the information. So you only need to type this thing in once, okay. And I'm going to show you. I usually actually have a function block for my vibration sensor. So I just need to copy from my other projects and I paste. Ta-da! I have a function block that I can easily call on. Okay. Uh, and then within the code itself, it will show. I will tell it that okay, this is how I interpret my data. I'm reading the first one as a velocity, second blah 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 blah, second temperature. Yeah. So what you can do, so if you have a function block for previous project, copy and paste it in, very easy. And like your blinker, you just create the blinker. Sensor1, sensor1, VT2. Okay, this is my function, VT2, and then this is what I want to call it. Okay, and my sensor1 has a input of PT1 in 0. Okay, and maybe a offset. Blah. Okay, and I don't really want to know this. Okay, so the last thing that you probably have a lot of questions is that for those who are familiar with C, yeah, you can actually use like the C language, the programming language C, you can actually use pointers, okay, to point to like the address, the variable address, okay. So for example, I actually have a slave over here, okay, and I only need a pointer to point to this particular address, okay, %IW0, okay. You'll see that I'm going to create, so I'm going to okay, so I have an array of 31 words, 0 to 31 words, storing my data, okay. So I need to create this array, okay. I have this array at this address, okay. So to read all the data out together, I can simply just write, okay, sensor data. I can simply just create a variable of the same type, okay. Array 0 dot dot 21 of word, okay. And I need to tell it that I have these variables, okay. I have this data at this address, okay. And I will put it in, okay. So there you go, okay. And then you'll be able to easily read the sensor data from this sensor word, okay. I will not explain, maybe I'll explain this in my next video how this can work, okay. But the what's that called, about the main what I want to teach over here is that with structured text, with Codesys, it's easy for you to copy and paste code from previous project, and very easy for you to uh, add many different add many different slave device, yeah, and translate that sensor data using function block, okay. So okay, I'm going to end this video here because I think it's been running for 1 hour. So I hope you have a better appreciation of how you can use Codesys, okay. uh, So uh thank you, and maybe uh never mind, I still have 2 minutes. I'll show you one more thing. Okay, so if for those of you who are using the the serial port, you can also no, not this one, sorry. Yeah, if you're using a serial port, yeah, you can also add it to the device over here. Okay, but the serial port is over here at the serial port. Ta-da! And then you can add yourself as the master. Okay, remember to always define your main device as the master, and you have how many slaves. Okay, and then on the master, nothing much to say. This is where you adjust your comport setting. Okay, so if you are who I think you are, adjust it to this. Okay, and same auto restart, and this is where you change your Modbus ID. Okay, and you can say we can add your channels here also. Okay, that's all. Okay, okay, I think I have a few seconds left, so I hope you can better appreciate how to do certain things and how to use our hardware. Thank you and have a good day. Bye bye.